How you love that?
Look at you bringing us something
Yeah.
new.
How you love that? All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your man Tyrone, aka Mr. Chocolates. All right, the big homie Black Pearl,
Hey guys.
and the doctor. I said the doctor's in the house. Dr. Royal Green.
What's up?
All
What's up?
right,
What's up?
we are the good guy experience back at you live. All right, so what's going on, ladies? How's it been?
Doing good, doing good. What about
All
you?
right. Hey, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. I'm here. I'm
I'm
live.
I'm tired. I don't know what y'all feeling. I need some of y'all mojo because I'm
She
done
said,
for the
I'm
day.
tired, boss. I'm
I was
tired.
tired, boss. I was tired. I don't know. I get energized when I jump on live somewhere.
I definitely do too. Like, it sounds so weird, but it's very rare that you don't see me smiling. I'm going to smile. Or I laugh at something. So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's been a interesting week. All right, back at it. So we were like, what are some things going on that's been busy around the interwebs? So jump right into it. We got some hot topics. Then we got the main topic today. All right, so we got this guy here. All right, y'all know who that is?
Tell us who it is.
Miss
Tell the people who he is.
Who that
Okay, that
man?
is Mr. Andrew Tate. Now he's been all over the internet. He's been like getting millions and millions of followers, and he's got this big following. He kind of, I don't know, in my view, he kind of took the when Kevin Samuels died, he kind of took that mantle for those the red pill movement and all that. So speaking up for men, but he's kind of extreme. He's really extreme. He's talked about like owning women and his property and
Wait, pause. Did you say owning women?
yeah, he was like, women are men's property, and
Mm,
it's a lot of it's a lot of extremeness to him.
very.
I think a lot of it with him, he's a character, and I think he's a whole different guy behind the scenes. But yeah, but he just got money, and then he's got this
He probably
cult
got
following,
breastfed till he was 5, but I got
Stop
you.
it.
and he was like a world champion kickboxer, and he owns like some casinos, and he's a rich dude. And but the main thing that kind of got an issue with he had a what you call it, webcam girls doing webcam. He paid a subscription. He got really rich off of that, and recently he got arrested in Romania for sex trafficking, rape,
Oh, he
um,
owned too many women. Is that what it
other
is?
stuff. So I don't know. So it's been a big debate in the an internet circle whether he's guilty, or some people are saying like the big thing they saying like it's the matrix, it's the system. He was speaking too much truth, and they brought him down. And so as people, people believe that, some
So
people
what do
don't.
you think,
Ah,
Tyrone?
what do I think about? So about him, I mean, he's one of those guys. Like some of the stuff he said was really extreme for me. Like so, I wasn't with it. He's like anybody else. They'll say some truth and sprinkle some shit on it and throw it in the air, and some people like it, and some people smell it and go, "Oh, this shit," and some people don't.
And
Um,
some people put it in a square, put some whipped cream on top of it, and call it a brownie. Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
So,
That's a
so
Miss
yeah,
Minnie
but
pie.
as
That's a
far as
Miss Minnie pie.
sex trafficking, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see. I'm always a let the evidence come out person. If I had to be a betting man, I probably think he had something going on just from his demeanor and what he talked about. But I don't know. I like to let people. I let them other people lock them up for that. I don't know. What y'all think?
I think there's always some truth when you hear a story. I don't know what part, but there's always some truth to it. So
Yeah. Well, what do you think of him? Like as before he got arrested, did you hear anything of him or?
I did hear, not in depth like what you just shared, but
No.
before I did, but I really got more like he was almost like a Howard. I'm showing my age, Lord. A Howard Stern, like
Mm,
saying things to get attention, to pull people in. That he does say things that are very far to the left,
Mhm.
and it draws that attention to him.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the most that I heard about him. So
What do you think, Dr. Royal Rain?
So honestly, this is new information to me. I've been trapped somewhere.
in the closet.
And yeah. So honestly, this is interesting. And with any of these cases here lately, like you just don't know which way it's going to go. So yeah, I'm going to follow your suit, Mr. Chocolate, on this one and just kind of see what happens. Because it might turn out not to be so good for him, but then strange things happen. So you
Strange
just,
things do happen.
you know, and especially
he's in Romania, so
right, it's a different country, so you just don't know.
I don't even know. I don't know nothing about that justice system. All right. So next thing we're gonna highlight was so I don't have a picture of him, but Peyton Hillis. Okay. So good thing about him, he saved his family.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And what's the latest update on him?
He's released.
So he got
all of this happened the same time that Hamlin was going through his thing. Yeah. But he just got released from the hospital.
A true hero, right?
So he actually helped somebody. So hey, shout out to him.
Absolutely. We salute you, sir. We wish there were more like you.
Yes. No doubt. All right. And so, another hot topic that we seen was this unfortunate incident with this 6-year-old shooting the teacher.
Right? 6.
So if you're not up to speed on this, I got a little quick, little something to give a little info on it. All right.
Tonight, shocking new details revealed after a 6-year-old shot his teacher in a Virginia school last week. The school superintendent revealing that a school administrator was told the child may have brought a gun to school that day.
At least one administrator was notified of a possible weapon in the timeline that we're reviewing, and was aware that student there was a potential that a weapon was on campus.
The superintendent also saying a school staffer searched the child's backpack, but found nothing. Hours after the search, the first grade student shot his teacher, Abigail Zwerner, in the chest with a 9mm handgun. The 25-year-old hailed a hero for managing to get the rest of her class to safety.
I believe that Miss Zwerner, Abigail, that she saved lives on Friday.
Zwerner remains hospitalized in stable condition. Parents now demanding answers on how this could have happened. Maria Navarrete has 2 kids that attend Rich Neck Elementary. She says she doesn't feel comfortable sending them back to school until more is done to prevent this from happening again.
What in the world?
So little kid apparently had some beef with the teacher. And
did the kid really have beef, or is that the spin that we're putting?
I mean, so apparently it was an issue. Well, he shot the teacher.
He could have thought he was playing a video game.
Nah, but this. So apparently, the crazy sinister thing about this, the kid knew exactly what was going on, knew how to use the gun. Okay, brought the gun to school with the intention.
Hid the gun, right? Hid the gun.
Had the gun with the intention on shooting their teacher.
Wow.
So it wasn't I'm really trying to understand this because there's a little bomb going off in my head, like 6, right?
Yeah. Like I can't imagine that when I was 6, I couldn't pull any of that off. I didn't even think to do that.
Can sometimes pee on themselves while they're sleeping. You know what I mean? Like it's just like what's going on? Wow. So oh God, I got too many questions. Go ahead. Go ahead. Too many questions.
Go ahead, Roy. What you saying?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, so it's still under investigation. Pearl, to your question, like they're still trying to figure out, like number one, when they searched the bag, they said nothing was in the bag, but obviously he had it somewhere, whether it was on his person or something, right? And I know from experience, like different schools and school districts, some of them follow a bag check. So some schools actually wand students, like truly wand them, and go through their bag as they come in. Okay. I mean that here, like in this little area. But then there are situations where they literally just do a quick, I call it the open up, you good.
Yeah. Like when
And
you
they
go to
really
the club and they
right.
go,
And they're really not really like looking. And anything could really have been in there. So all this is still under investigation. They don't understand what's really going on. And I haven't heard if the parent
that's what was my question.
Yeah,
Right.
if the
Like,
parent has been brought up yet.
how
Yeah,
did we go straight to the? Unfortunately, we have children. That's they're your responsibility.
Right.
How? That's where I'm at. How? I'm just thinking about when my children were 6, the level of dependence that they had on me. That's why I'm like, I have so many questions as a parent.
There's a lot of questions here. I know. So in Virginia, is the law is that it's illegal to have have a loaded weapon, accessible to a kid under 14.
Mm-hmm.
But when I read it, it's a misdemeanor, and the max punishment is 1 year.
Meaning for the 6-year-old or in general?
No, for the parent who leaves a loaded weapon around for a child. So the
That's
penalty.
all?
Yeah, so it's a misdemeanor and 1 year in prison. That's like the max. Like, and you could get, of course, less probation or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, different places got different laws with that.
So wouldn't that sort of, and I know this is obvious, but I'm just saying it, wouldn't that parallel the topic that we're talking now? Like, isn't this about mom, dad? I mean, I don't know what the setup is at home, so I'm not going to assume anything. Right. But is that not, this is like, I don't even have words. I always have words. I don't even have words because the level of comprehension for a 6-year-old, not to say that you have to be stupid and, at 6, but I'm saying the level of comprehension, no talking, no, like 6, shouldn't even be a latchkey kid. That's what I'm like, I don't understand how did we get here? Can we say that? How did we get here? Why do we not have a 6-year-old running home and go, Mommy, the teacher doesn't like me, versus, hey, Miss such and such, your son or daughter just shot his teacher in the chest because he's the level of complexity right now is beyond me. So
it's really crazy, and this one is like, this is a failure of adults. Adults failed that kid.
Ooh,
all the way around, because there was a warning. So I work in school. You get a warning about a gun, and a kid, like, that's it. Somebody should be yanking that kid and pulling him out.
Absolutely, that's right.
So somebody's getting fired, and possibly
one
somebody.
Person, I think it's multiple.
Yeah. There's a failure here. And somebody got to lose a job, and somebody's likely going to have to get locked up. That parent will have to do that year. And probably.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I would give them whatever you would get for shooting it, for what the kid did.
Right.
Yeah, let's be 100. Being a teacher is not an easy task. Speaking to 2 teachers right now, right? But now the thought that even the 6-year-old could come at you, like the 16-year-old could come at you, is
scary.
Beyond me. Yes, it is beyond me. I am here to help your child, but I think oftentimes we encounter parents that go, well, that's not my business. They're at school. No, it's still your business.
Right.
This is your seed. Like the kid, my seed, that's your seed.
Right.
That is out in the world. And to think that, dude, I can't even. Let me tell you something. It would make me uncomfortable to hear even my child bullying someone else. That's how I'm like, you are a representation of me all day, every day, twice on Sundays. Like, it just, I don't.
Yeah, so it makes you ask, like, what's going on with the parenting, man? Like, so we got one more example of what the heck is going on with the kids, and like what the parents
doing. Going on with the kids?
I'm playing some of this. It gets kind of graphic, and because of the child. It's a little wild, but
yeah,
like
don't let it hurt nobody's feelings too much. But go ahead.
This is a frustrated and I'll leave my comments for after. But this kid's got some issues.
Well, I'd like to see you come up here and do one of these problems.
Shut the fuck up talking to me, Mr. Johnson, before I come knock the motherfucking glasses off your face. And that's on my dick or my head.
Didn't I tell you earlier today? I said,
shut the fuck up talking to me.
Markel, I said I do not talk to you that way, and I would appreciate it if you did not talk
shut
to me that way.
Shut the fuck up talking to me.
I do not curse.
No, there's something deeper wrong with him.
Yeah, and see, and it kind of goes,
and it escalated. It continued to escalate. Yeah. Like
so
that's
did he put his hand? I don't want to see it. Did he put his hands?
Nah. There's another one like that, but this one, no, he didn't put his hands. The teacher, man, the guy was professional and patient, and and was trying to, do what he could do with a young man, but like clearly, like, and so
he's hurting.
Yeah, so he's hurting. Something's going on with that kid. Like
because he wasn't even looking at him, right? He was sitting like this.
Yeah, so just in my experience, like I've got a good little amount of experience now with kids. When I see that, I don't even. Some people get mad, like, oh, you gotta what you do, but that's hurt. Like that's emotions are like coins. Right. So that anger, the other side of that coin is hurt. Something's hurting that kid. He's seen something. Right. Something's going on.
He's hurting a lot. Well, so as someone who has been a 2-parent household and also been a single parent, unfortunately a single parent longer than 2-parent household, I think I committed to myself to be the parent who was always there. Was it easy? No. Did I want to give up sometimes? Absolutely. But I think my mind frame was always, and I think all of us should always think like, if a child feels that the person who gave them life does not want them, that burden is like, it's almost like a fart. It's going and it's affecting everyone around them, even if they don't mean it. Everyone is going to get the backlash of that. And I think we tend to forget that how important we are the first example of everything, the good, the bad, and so I say that to say, I've told you guys on this podcast, I had kids early for what my parents expected of me. And, the first thing was like, well, let your parents take care of it. And I'm like, now imagine what my child feels like my mom doesn't even want me. Yeah. I don't feel there's any justification. I don't care if it's like, oh, I got to go make some money. My mother, the person who carried me and bore me, does not even want me. No matter how much a kid shakes their head and agrees, that is the core message you're telling that child. Yeah. I don't get it. That's just me, just me. So
yeah. So some questions about, so freelance parenting, like, so what do you guys consider to be freelance parenting? Like,
thank you for asking that, because I wanted to respond to that. So to me, freelance parenting is what we would formerly call laissez-faire parenting.
Look at you speaking my language. Go ahead.
Yes, you're so silly. But to me, that's what it is. It is truly permissive parenting, and so there are no boundaries established. The child basically and again, this is my opinion. The child runs the house. And so because of that, when they go out here into society, into school, community, whatever, they feel like they're still under those same guidelines. Like, you can't tell me what to do because nobody's telling me what to do or setting boundaries for me in my house. So who are you? So, and then the thing is, because Pearl, I'm going to deviate from what you just said a few minutes ago.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, honey.
So the scenario you just gave was the parent who has a child but don't really care about the child. Okay, right? That's neglect.
Well, puts other things before the child. Okay.
Right. So the issue there is that with freelance parenting, sometimes it's not a matter of a scenario like that, because there may be situations and an alternative scenario where the parent is very loving to the extent of creating the child feeling like they're privileged, like again, like they are above and they do no wrong. You see what I'm saying? And so you got two different sides of the coin when we talk about this. So I just want to throw that opposite alternative perspective that, a permissive parent can just be,
I think for me, freelance parenting to me is the absence or the lack of accountability of your role as a parent. That's and I guess that kind of encompasses everything that we're saying, right? We hear a lot, where's the parent? And that's fine to ask that. I think we're hearing less answers to where's the parent. So that's my take on freelance parenting.
I mean, I see it firsthand in what I do. There's it's a lot of just freelancing. Like, to me, freelancing is people that their kids are just free agents out. Right. They float around. 'Cause I literally have coached guys who didn't live with their parents. They were like neighborhood kids, and they would be at this friend's house and this friend's house. Parents don't care where they're going. And then when you talk to them, oh yeah, they wild. They just out in the streets. I don't know. And it's just like this blase. And these people are being menaces out here. They're raising menaces. They're out here just doing anything because can't come to school and tell them what to do because they're adults in the everyday world. Right. They're not listening to you. They're gonna cuss you out like that kid was cussing.
Right.
That's horrible. Like, I sincerely feel like someone talks to him like that.
Well, and it could be in that scenario, with that child, he has no emotional regulation, and oftentimes we call these kids BED kids, aka BAD kids. Sometimes we say that behind closed doors, but it's not so much that there is a behavioral or emotional disturbance per se. Oftentimes it is. Granted, there may be some psychiatric stuff, psychiatric stuff going on with the child, but some of that can be mediated by establishing some structure and providing boundaries and guidance. Key word is guidance. They need somebody to help guide them because they're trying to figure out how to maneuver, and they can't. Because they don't have the development.
It's a big world, and you got them trying to figure it out themselves.
Because that was an elementary kid. Looked like.
Was it?
Yeah, I mean,
I know it wasn't high school, but elementary.
He's either elementary or like
sixth grade,
sixth grade, early middle school. And let me tell you, he's real. There's kids, it's like that. Yeah,
and we'll bust windows out in the classroom too. Play with them.
Yeah. So trust me, I ain't getting to, job specifics, but man, it's a lot different. Yeah. That pandemic got them. Woo, they came in from that pandemic, like.
Yeah, because we left some of and I'm saying we, but figuratively we. Yeah. We left some of these kids at home with what they come to school to escape. That's rough. Because we talk about, there's a lot of divorces because people really found out who their spouses are. That was the least of our problems. The bigger problems were the kids that stayed at home with parents that they used school to get away from. So
that's true. That's facts.
I think we as adults bleed out emotionally and mentally on our kids. And what I mean by that is we plug in our fears. We plug in our lacks on our child, right? It does not always have to be a single parent household. I know that tends to be where we lean to, but you can have a 2-parent household where the father or mother is being abusive or toxic, and that child is holding that. They're forced to deal with that. And so they're not going to unload on the people who are loading them up. They're going to wait till they get out and unload. That whole, what is like half a minute thing is a little boy saying, help.
Help.
Like, I don't even know how else to say it. Help.
He's definitely reaching out for help.
Right.
That's a help. But what do we say? And I'm not criticizing what you said, Royal, but we literally go, that's a bad kid, and that's it. They're in a box. Like a bad apple. Nobody goes for the bad apple. They put that to the side. So not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's natural for us to do that. So
yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's gotta be some room for redemption.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know?
I do.
But on the same, it's gotta be some consequences too. And a lot of times too, what I'm seeing just from where in my world with kids, the expectations, man, we've got lowered expectations.
Say it. Yes,
so
you do.
Say it one more time, Tyrone.
We've got lowered expectations. So it's like, now it's all about, just making it easy, don't shame anybody, everybody's a winner, and a lot of our kids,
participation awards.
like kids come up to me and be excited like I'm supposed to cheer because, I did my work today, Mr. Knox. And I always reply, get out of my face. It's supposed to be your work. That ain't special. I tell them that's not special. That's not special. Come back with me when you have an A in that work. Okay. When you get the honor roll, come holler at me. Don't come holler at me because, I didn't get any trouble today. You're not supposed to get in trouble. It's not supposed to be a thought. We got lower expectations for a lot of these kids, and I think that's one of many things. That's part of our issue. It's okay to have high expectations, and make it a standard.
Do you know what else? And this is going to be like the other side of the coin. I think we spend so much time parenting the child that's not being parented when they get to school. We forget about the kids that are actually doing, excelling, and those kids pull so much energy that we don't even get to support the ones that are doing what they're supposed to do and going against the grain and not being that way. We take away from them, dude. We take away. So
and it's interesting because oftentimes these freelance parents, when you call them to let them know what's going on, and you genuinely want to help, you genuinely want to get to the root and figure out what is going on, what resources can we provide. Like when you make those telephone calls, not all the time, but I'll say 70% of the time.
That's a lot.
Mr. Chocolate, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to push it to 80, but I'll give it 70. But when you call these parents, the parents will immediately say, what the H do you want me to do?
Yeah, those
because
ones
because I can't do anything with them when they are here. What do you want me to do? What do you
I get a lot of those.
Or
no, they say, what the hell? I mean, obviously not the hell, but what do you want me to do? I can't do anything.
No, they do say, what the hell? I'm trying to be nice tonight.
Yeah.
I'm being very serious right now. And so God forbid if they come to the school, they come in, and this is a pet peeve of mine, and this is not me being judgmental. It really is not. It's just a pet peeve. When they come to school looking like whatever they got up in. And they came to the school.
Oh, that's the trend. That's the trend. That's the trend. I'll be arguing with my child.
No, baby. This was before it became a trend.
Oh, okay.
This is how they come as they are and then want to talk junk because you have disrupted their time in whatever it is they were doing or not doing.
Nothing.
Right. and then they put on a show in front of everybody. A whole full-fledged production, just so that when they get home, if you ask one of their classmates, is John good? Yeah, Miss Gray. John was out there at the park. As soon as I got home from school, he was out there at the park. Ain't nothing happened. So my point
they want that attention. They're not getting it anywhere else.
But what I'm saying is, I'm talking about the parent though. Because the thing is, the parent. And I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how we as a village are adequately supporting our parents who lack the skills for whatever reason.
We're not.
Which could be various reasons and factors why they don't have the skill set. But neither here nor there, we are doing them a disservice as well. But like I say, when you make that phone call and you're trying to impart support, there's this pushback. And it's almost like a pushback from the standpoint of, oh, you don't think I'm being a good parent. You don't think I'm doing what I can, the best that I can do.
Humbling yourself and go,
yeah.
The parents need a village too.
But listen, here's the caveat to this stupidity.
Oh, God.
Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. That was not nice. But it's ridiculous. The caveat to that is, again, Mr. Chocolate can attest, whenever the school does some free giveaways, don't let it be holiday season and we are doing toy drives and stuff like that to give to those that are truly in need. Everybody and their grandmama will come out, even those that don't even need it. Mr. Chocolate, please.
They're in the front of the line.
I'm being serious, and that
they be there.
I was a single parent, and I used to see it. I understand.
Okay. Yes, and it's like
yeah, they be there. They be sport. So I coach football, right?
Yes, sir.
I have parents who be at every single practice criticizing the football team.
Absolutely.
But their son got zeros across the board. And one time I told her, it was a young guy, and he was complaining because when the guys got zeros, I don't let them play. Right. I'm like, you can't have I give a higher academic standard than the school.
Correct.
I thought, and I told you this before, I thought the sports in schools did require that, but you're saying you put that on your team.
It's a low standard, but so I give a little bit higher standard. Mm-hmm. So the parents get mad sometimes. And I had a young guy just screaming at me over the fence, because his son wasn't playing. And I told him, I said, bro, you're at every practice. You're at every game fussing. But I said, not one teacher in that building knows who you are. Your son is failing. And, and normally I wouldn't, but I just didn't care at that moment. And he actually, so he was a younger brother, young parent. Okay. And so he got mad, but he thought about it. He came back a couple of days later and he said, dang, he said, you're right, And, so he said, I'm going to try to do better. And so that was a good moment. That's rare. But, but I think a lot of times we don't mentor people. We don't try to because one, we're scared of the reaction and all that, so. But that's
what can we do? What can we do?
Yeah,
as a society, as a people, and it's not just a person of color issue either. Let me throw that out there.
Ours was more.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
No, it's not. But
at the society, if we had more community, we've lost a lot of community.
I agree.
We don't look at things as far as bettering the group. It's all individualistic and stuff.
Yeah, we as the African American, Black, Brown communities are operating in silos. Mm-hmm. And I think that we tend to realize that some of us can't be winning and some of us can't be losing because we still affect each other whether we see it or not. And I think that's the thing. Yes, it does happen in other cultures. I actually see them medicating more in other cultures when stuff like this happens. Mm-hmm. And, we're all opposed to that. Come on, let's be real. But I think because we are not unified and we put more energy into what other people will say, we're just all suffering in silence in our own little our own little corners. And we're struggling. Mm-hmm. We're struggling. This is our future.
Right.
That little boy is our future.
Yeah,
right.
And when I say future, we tend to minimize it like, yeah, he's going to be in Bojangles. No, he's our future. It doesn't matter where in that future he is. That's our future.
Right.
Is that really what we want? Do we want to mind our business till we can't mind our business no more because it's in our face?
We're gonna not mind our business. He can be busting you upside the head in a couple of years. Your car.
I get it.
Absolutely.
That's
Right.
the thing about our children, man. Our children, you know, they're gonna have to take care of us and be in this world. They're gonna be adults. So, you know, you better try to raise some strong ones, okay? Instead of trying to fix broken ones. They like
You either deal with it now, or deal with it later. It'll be easier now than later, though.
A lot of us don't get it. There's a lot of different philosophies. You know, I hear a lot of younger people when they talk about, you know, like raising kids. They think the old school way is wrong. I don't know. Well, what do you guys think? So what do you guys think about?
I'm ready for this.
What do you guys think about spanking? So you talk about spanking, right? You know, spare the rod for the child, right? So there's a more new school, thought that spanking is wrong. That you shouldn't spank and it's not necessary. I've heard people say that it brings trauma you're bringing trauma to the children.
Any of you traumatized?
Listen,
I'm actually good myself.
I was traumatized for getting a spanking for something that I did not have anything to do with and didn't want to have anything to do with, which is a funny family story. But but the thing is, some people, I think there is a gray line because for case in point, that child in that video spanking that baby using corporal punishment is not going to help him at all, because there is something internally and externally going on with this child that form of discipline is not going to help.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
So for our viewers, you know, we got to understand every type of discipline type does not necessarily work for every single child. Because the first thing,
I agree, it's no cookie cutter way.
It is not. So first thing with our students that have behavioral problems in our school, first thing, a lot of educators, a lot of other people that are watching and listening, the first thing they say is they just need a good old-fashioned ass whooping. No, they don't. Please stop saying this, because it doesn't work for every child. There's some other stuff going on. Now, with that being said, sometimes, yes, sir, some meat fry will set your whole
meat. Are you talking about a pan?
I'm talking about that black leather belt that I say pow pow, because I pop it. Pow pow. And I let you know I'm coming through. Don't play. So a lot of people, Pearl is laughing, but
I am. What you want me to say?
When with some children, that method actually does work, because they don't want that aversive type of punishment. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, who wants that?
Well,
but everybody is different, and I
don't think parenting is cookie cutter either. I have 3 kids, actually helped raise 5.
Yeah, and
they're each different. Like my oldest, I yoked her up once,
and that was
she still talks about it, right?
Mine
my
too.
Middle one, spanking didn't work. He'd look at me like I was crazy.
Yep.
Right. And then my youngest, not at all. He's so focused on the spanking. He would be so focused on the spanking, he would miss. I'm not a spanker either. I am really like, get into your mind. And I don't mean break you down, but understand why it's wrong, whatever. I say that. And then I had at one point 2 stepchildren. They also were 2 totally different ways. It's about spending time with your child and understanding that it's not about you flexing your muscle. It's about setting boundaries. It's about disciplining. It's about conditioning this child into adulthood and then putting them out into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. We're like, we don't want to traumatize them. We don't want them to think beating is okay and it's a form of love and all
but
the
there's
other
a difference
stuff.
between beating and spanking. Again,
Correct.
that's a whole other conversation too. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I was about to say that I think we don't, and this is one thing that I did not do, and it probably is because of my own experience. Emotionally provide discipline in the form of spanking. Nah, you're beating your child. Does that make sense? Like you're angry,
Yeah.
you're hard at work.
The whole putting the hands on. So I my thing with parenting, I think it should be an option. Okay. But I think sometimes people are lazy with it. Like you just decided, like, hey, you see a kid acting up, beat their ass. Don't come up with a solution. Don't try on.
What are you teaching them, right?
They just need to be hurt. You just need to go hurt them. I think that's lazy. It's just kind of cliche. You see a bad kid, they need to butt whoop. Okay, but after that? Are we explaining what's wrong?
Right.
Are we,
and when we're doing that, we are actually subconsciously telling them you can take violence or beating to resolve your issue. You're not teaching them a lesson.
Right. So it can't just be, I think people just think it's the beating, in reaction to something going wrong.
Right.
It's got to be the parenting, the guiding to go along with it. You can't just beat somebody and then think, okay, don't do it again. What's the value? What's the morals? Because I look at people say, need spanking, but it's all kinds of gangbangers and people in prison who were spanked. Part of it is culture too, and part of it too, because a lot of times with parenting, you can parent all you want, but sometimes that culture is strong, man. That culture is strong outside of your house, especially these days, because it's everywhere.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, because when I did like that, when you talked about this culture and society and gangs and stuff, here's an interesting little tidbit. You don't want to discipline your child in the home, whether it's a spanking or otherwise. But that same child might get involved with a gang in which they had to get jumped in and get their A whooped.
Yeah, but they get those boundaries you're afraid to give them in parenting in those lifestyles.
But that's my point. Like, do you see the interesting plot twist, if you will? I'm not gonna do it here, but somebody else gonna do it.
Because we crave for that. We need that. We need to know where the lines are. We need to know what the boundaries are. I did not grow up getting spanked a lot. We got spanked, but I think because the type of child I was just like, what you say, Mom? I'm doing it. But I did that with my children too. Like sometimes it wasn't spanking, sometimes it was cherry picking. I don't know if you know what that is. Like when you put your arms out and do the cherry picking.
What's that?
Arms out and you put your finger and you keep arms out.
I ain't never.
It hurt. It hurt. It hurt. But it gives you time to think, right? I'm not very tall, for those of you who know me in real life. So my kids got taller than me real quick. So like with my 17-year-old, I made him he did something like stayed past curfew. I was like, everything that I bought for you, and that's not yours, like you didn't buy what you own, I need you to gather it, put it in this area. And he had to actually talk about the value of each thing before he brought it back into his room. He still stayed without it for a few days. Like that. Those are the things where I'm saying, listen, you can't, if we're doing this, we're in a reciprocity here as a family. These boundaries you have are for a reason. It would have been easy, and I'm not joking with you, to just punch him in the chest, punch him in the throat, call it a day. But what am I really teaching him?
So let me ask y'all this. Do you think that the idea of setting boundaries, using various types of discipline, and in this case, I'm going to be specific, using corporal punishment, right? Do you think that society are misinformed when it comes to corporal punishment? Because oftentimes children are ingrained with the idea that if you put your hands on me, I'm going to call the police and you going to jail.
They're taught that.
I'm going to call CPS or whatever, right?
Yeah,
But do you think that there's a miscommunication in that? And what I mean by that is, it does not say that you can't discipline your child. It does not say that you can't use corporal punishment. It says no physical harm in the sense of evidence manifested in the form of bruises, whelps, like true manifestations. And I think, go ahead, sweetie, go ahead.
I think that we use it so lightly that the whole purpose of it is not even effective anymore.
Got it. Okay.
Because the thing is, that's supposed to be part of the village, right? But it's not. It's not. And I don't know about you, but my kids did come home like, oh, my such and such told me that if you hit me, I could cry. So you can. You absolutely can. But I'm gonna tell you what. And I'm gonna be real, two different answers. The first time I heard it, I was in the middle of discipline, not spanking, just, talking. And it was my middle son. I love you, Damien. That's my middle child. He pushed those buttons. And I go, you go ahead. But then if they come and get you, I'm gonna beat you all the way to the car and give you a reason. Like, I want to give them a real reason. All I'm doing right now is elevating my voice. And I'm being honest, because that's how I felt in that moment. I'm doing my best to be a parent, and you're finding an escape route to be accountable for what you're getting disciplined for. Okay.
So you better not put your hands on me.
The second time that it came up, I had to talk to my kids. It's real. At the second time it came up, it was real, like real conversations happening in school about it. And so I had to talk to them and go, listen, I get it. I don't, but I get it. And what your mother is giving you, you're not going to find out there.
Right.
You're not. I'm giving you the absolute best that I have.
Right.
Because I want you, like really talking to my kids, really helping them to understand. But then what that did was trigger me to be more invested if they feel that the easiest way out is to go somewhere else. It's not. And that's why I said I feel CPS, I understand the core of it, and their job is not easy. I have people I used to go to school with, their jobs are not easy, but we have blurred the line so much that they can't do their job anymore and save some of these kids that really need saving.
Absolutely.
It's really people who are getting abused and need help, so I feel you there. I feel you there. So what do you think about? So I see different modes of parenting.
Yeah.
Where so I know when I was growing up, you would hear like a child's place, right?
Yep.
And children didn't worry about certain things. You be a child. But I see now there's a new mode of parenting where where the children are inserted into everything that goes on in the house. The children have an input in bills and where we go and everything.
Yes.
We make some people make their kids their best friend, right?
Right. So what do you guys think of that and how that might be impacting things?
I still believe a child has its place, but maybe not the way it was old school. And what I mean by that is let a child be innocent. They got plenty of time to deal with the stuff out here. Let them be innocent. They don't need to know your drama with Mike, Bob, John, Chris, and they don't need to know that. They don't need to hear how much you can't stand their dad. They don't.
Yeah.
They got time. They got time for that. We snatch away the innocence that's only about this big so quick. Like, it's gonna sound crazy when I say it, and this is a whole nother topic, but as an example, let that fool believe in Santa Claus for a little bit. Just for a little bit. Let them believe in unicorns, and I get why we don't. I'm just using that as an example. Right? Let them believe for a little bit, because the reality is far worse, just for a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't do that. We take all of the stuff we have inside and just go on these kids. Let them believe just for a little. It sounds crazy, but I really mean that. The innocence is this.
And that's why I think a lot of the kids are so burdened and stressed out, not because of what they got going on. They're stressed out because they're hearing and they're wearing all the stuff that you're putting on them about everything. Right. You got kids worrying about bills and money. Man, when I was growing up, my parents had some rough times, and we were broke. But when I was a kid, I didn't wear that. I didn't know about that. I just, hey, it wasn't, hey man, we're broke. We got this going on. Whoa. They let me be a kid. And I think when we talk about mental health with children,
yes,
part of that issue is we're stressing our kids out.
The hell out.
Yes.
And think about social media. We were able to be hidden from some of those things when we're younger. It's in their face. It's like in their face.
Right.
In their face. The violent video games have always been around. Maybe the graphics are more detailed than they were before, but the violence was always there. It's just everything else is in your face. Like, I don't even know how else to tell you. It just, even myself, and I'm being very real, I avoid the news. I'm like, this is literally a seed planter. It plants seeds. Remember, no matter what, the narrative still exists, right? The point is, sometimes instilling fear can help with money in other areas. Like everyone got a Ring camera now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that fear can happen. My biggest example I use all the time is when I was younger in New York for Halloween, they're like, oh, there are razor blades and apples.
I remember that.
What? Razor blades and apples. Do you know how many accounts they had?
Wow.
And it's from the same, seriously, 2. And they found 2 apples from the same
household or whatever the case is,
or wherever it was coming from. But listen, let the news tell it. Every apple tree had an apple grown with a razor in it. Be careful.
Right.
So
And so yes, we kind of do that with kids, man. We get them riled up, stressed out, and they act out, and we don't know what's going on. I think that could be a big issue. What do you think, Doctor?
And then another sad piece to what we're talking about is piggybacking off of that parent who wants their child to be their best friend, but not just their best friend, but be that woman or that man of the house. And what I mean by that is that the expectation is that you're going to go out here and help contribute to the house. And if you don't go out here and contribute to the house, then you can get the ham sandwich up out of here. Like, I don't know where that is coming from. Like, it's like this blurred line between recognizing this is your child and not your partner,
or reminding your child they're a burden. I mean, don't get me wrong. As a parent, we do it. Listen, but I mean, like, if you weren't here, I could do this. If you weren't here, I could do that. Or if I wasn't here, and I know there are women who think like, and I'm going to talk about things that I've heard. So from my experience, there are women who go, if the kids weren't around, I'd have a man, or he'd want to marry me. Listen, boo, that child did not have any say in you having them.
No say at all. That's why that sucks. Hate when I hear people say that. That's why I always tell my child, man, it's my pleasure to do what I do for you.
Oh my God, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like the reason I do what I do. So when I hear people talk about, raising the kid in the kid's face, look what I had to do. You're supposed to do. See, it goes back to the expectations, want the reward for what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of your child. Right. That's why I never could be cool with a dude who like
doesn't take care of his kids.
Yeah, who definitely never. I'm never cool with a guy who does take care of his kid because I'm a person. I believe in men checking men. I'm going to say something to you about it. I can never be cool with somebody who bragged about taking care of their child like it was something special. It's not special.
Well, for me, since I'm single up here at this time, if I meet a man that's not taking care of his kids, we not going nowhere. I'm sorry. We are not. If you can't, I've even gone on dates where they can't even remember their kid's name. Not stuttering, but I can't remember my kid. No, sir. I don't have one friend, not one that goes, I have kids, but they live here and I live. No, not one. No. That is such a red flag for me. Because your child is an entity of yourself. Right. And I feel like if you're comfortable in your skin to do that without just because, people have certain reasons like temporarily, I'm not with my, I get that. But if you are comfortable in your skin, knowing a piece of you is not with you.
Right.
Not this Pearl. Pearl's not your girl. Let you know that.
That shell closes up, huh?
Yeah.
Because I can't, because to me that flag is I have identity issues. I have issues with myself. And also you had children and now someone else has to be accountable for those children on your behalf. So you could go out and get pregnant again, or you could go out and get someone else pregnant again, and you're just going to slide them to the side. I just cannot be a part of that. I can't. And even at my age, I'm being real with you, even at my age, if I were to miraculously get pregnant, and I'm just saying that, I would not pass that off to someone else. I'm like, well, you did it. Gets the parenting. I'm just being real with you. I don't want what I fell short on to be someone else's problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we don't, go ahead, Mr. Chocolate.
I'm saying that kid grows up knocking me in the head later. Raise that kid right, please.
That is not the legacy we should be leaving. We should not be comfortable leaving a failed legacy behind.
Right.
Yeah.
We gotta do better as parents, because it's an old saying, but truly, if you don't teach them, the world got a whole other lesson for them. That's exactly right, but they're really not ready for. Majority of the children, Polk Youth Center here, the prison for underage for youth, ages, I think it starts from like 16 up to 25 or something to that effect before they go to
my juvenile detention center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, this is prison. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about.
She said, "No, this is prison."
No, this is Polk. This is a correctional facility. This is not prison. Yeah. So no. So these children, when you look at the data on these children, majority of these children come from environments in which we're talking about. Okay, these children are coming from a broken education system, because majority of those children cannot read at a 6th grade reading level, even though they may be 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever the case be. Like they have IEPs, okay? Because of that learning deficit. The majority of these children are being sacrificed by their families. And when I say sacrificed by their families, I'm saying we're leaving them out here to be slaughtered by the world. We gotta do better. We so gotta do better. And if you got a good kid that's like going astray, because I was one of them, sit down, stop being freaking judgmental and thinking, oh, you just acting this way because this, that, the third. Have a sit down conversation with these children, because all these children are not lost.
True.
And I'm sure that there were a lot of people that thought I was lost. No, baby, she ain't lost. I was wayward, but I won't lost. I just needed to figure out how to expose my truths so that I can be a greater version of myself. I can be who I was destined to be. And that's where a lot of these children truly are. Not all of them, but a lot of our children that's going through crap and exhibiting these behaviors. And they want, like you said, like we all said this evening, they want those boundaries. They want that structure. They want guidance. They want love. They want nurturing. For freaking sake, I don't give a dang who you are. If you are a school counselor, social worker, teacher, principal, grandparent, neighbor across the street, they're going to be a mentor. Take time up to be for these kids, whether their parent is doing it or not. And like I say, because we don't know how to help some of these parents. I mean, because we've established that.
Yeah. Because
of pushback. But then sometimes we got to dig into their behind and figure out, baby, what's going on with you? So what's going on with you?
A little accountability, man. Accountability.
Right. So that's all. I'm sorry. I was taking the show out, but that's
no. All good points.
Hey, so if you want to help kids, speak up, do something, try to mentor them, because we fail a generation. We can't talk about a generation. That's on us. We're raising them.
We're raising them. They're not raised. Well, they shouldn't be raising themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, we got 2 hours already. What?
It went fast. It went fast.
Man, it went fast. All right. So man, raise your kids right. Okay. And if you see a kid messing up, don't be scared to say something to them. That's my final
See something,
word.
say something.
So you got any final thoughts, Black Pearl?
Let's invest in the village again.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with that. Any final thought, Dr. Royal?
No, love. I've said my piece for this evening.
Indeed. All right. So that's going to be it for tonight, everybody. All right. So we'll see y'all next time with the Good Guy Experience. With experience is always good. Peace.